Well, today on One Man Garage, we're driving in the Piney Woods, East Texas. Yeah, going to get my transmission for the Pontiac Turbo 400. So the guy's way out in the sticks. I wasn't kidding. Here's my badass Transgo parts upgraded BOP 400. Got this Corvette for sale in Gilmer. I like it. Old flames. I like it a lot. 4-speed. Had some fiberglass work done. 354 speed 69 vet, 31 grand. Get the front view on it. Take some video of this cool truck and this real cool 67 Chevy. It's got good patina. It's actually blue all the way around. I like it. I like it a lot. Cool old tractor. It's one of the historic buildings in Gladewater, Texas. It's the old ice house. So you know that's old. A lot of antique stores here in Gladewater. They're self-proclaimed capital of antiques or whatever, but there's a lot of that going around. Kind of like to try out this Skipper's Pier restaurant. It's Cajun, looks cool. Indoor, outdoor. Of course, you got the oil derrick because it's an old town. A lot of little businesses. Somewhere around here is a place called the Mint, where Elvis Presley played 1954, 70 years ago tomorrow. I have to go find it. Pretty nice little town. Just kind of driving around since we're in the neighborhood. So the junction of Highway 80 is up here. So I guess we drove past it. Or is it just not here anymore? Starting to think it's just not here. This building's long gone. It was the first place Elvis Presley played in Texas, from what I understand, and it just by coincidence was 70 years ago tomorrow. How about that? November 23rd of 54 to 2024. Dragging to offload from the truck, just slightly lower over into this. Got that Chevy one picked up a week ago, picked up this one yesterday for the Pontiac. I guess I could show you some of the video before the Chevy one got built. I just hadn't posted anything. Now we're gonna unload it to the grass with a foam mat so I can do it quickly, not hurt myself or break it. Well, that wasn't too bad. I'm just trying to be careful in my old age. I guess because it didn't have fluid in it, but I did get the C10 jacked up, at least. I haven't took anything off of it yet. Technically, I need to get it done first, but I've already got the Pontiac apart, so I already got the 400 under. I tried to beat on the floor pan a little bit. It's supposed to be tight around the tail shaft extension where it bolts on. It may hit the floor, I don't know. I'd like to get that up under the car today, at least. I don't know. For those that haven't seen my by myself put in automatic transmission mini videos, basically I'll lean it over on its side, then I'll roll the jack under it, but I'll keep the jack from rolling back with my legs or my body, and I'll just kind of bear hug and pull it on top of the jack and get it balanced. That's basically it. Maybe this will go on the first try. It's really not that hard, see? And I go forward. And jack it up a little bit. Kind of get some form of centering on it. So remember, the converter is going to go in before we can go up. So I think that's a pretty good spot. And we got the brand new TCI converter courtesy of PJ Racing. That means my best friend Paul. And we gotta put some fluid in here. Get up on there. Nothing new, nothing special. Well, I got a quart and a half or whatever in there, maybe 2 quarts. Rub some fluid all over everything, inside out of that and that, and splines. Guess we'll go ahead and slip her on there. Hopefully we won't drop a lot of fluid. Come on now. Is that all the way in? Good 1.5 inches, more than an inch recessed. I'd say that's in there. Now let's get the balance good. Now we're gonna let that swivel around. Feels pretty good. I actually use my legs to jack the jack while I'm holding balance on the bell housing. So, you know, here at One Man Garage, that's literally what it means. And I don't want to lift, okay? Actually, I prefer to do it this way because I can do it all on the ground. If you put anything on a lift, then you got to lift it up high. And then you got to have help and special tools, and it could fall real far. Or what if you need to get a bolt on top? Now you can't even get to it. You have to drop the thing down. My leverage against the jack, it just works. I don't know why everybody needs a lift. I've hit my head on them plenty of times. They're good for exhaust system welding or some kind of underbody detailing. But I don't want one. This is actually my form of exercise, because I usually feel really good after getting up and crawling on the ground and pushing and getting up a bunch of times. And it works for me. I do need to swing this jack into a more linear position. Alrighty. Now I got that chain so tight on the front, you know, the engine didn't even budge when we took the transmission off. So that's kind of handy. So I'll be able to get a better judgment on the floor clearance. So far, this is going way too easy. If I can just get it on the bell housing bolts, that's all we're gonna do today on this. Probably switch over to the C10 teardown. Starting to see the likely floor interference. They say you kind of have to cut out the floor and open it, and I may have to do that. Let's see, that's getting close though. To lower it just a tad. Shoot, we might be able to get us a couple bolts in there. Let's see. I'll turn y'all off for a minute. Look how close we are. I believe I went to the other side and it was actually over the pins and got a bottom bolt started and the middle one about to be gone, and then I came over here and already got two in over the dowel pins. So crap, this is wonderful. We're gonna get 4 bolts torqued so it'll support the weight, maybe the top ones. Well, I got 4 bolts torqued in. That's the middle one above the dowel pin and the bottoms, and that'll support the transmission. The converter's rotating nicely, doesn't have much to pull forward to put bolts in it, but we won't do that till later. Probably gonna have to try to get the dipstick shoved down in here, because we really need to put fluid in it, keep condensation out of the pan, so on. Kind of it's tight up here, but I think we'll be okay, because my custom cross member, which means just adding a plate to a cutlass cross member, so I got my dual exhaust humps. I just use 1 bolt on the frame on each side, and I got drill holes anyway, but by putting the plate under the frame, I can drop the transmission lower if need be to, you know, to clear up in here. And I need to put the mount on it and so forth. Pretty good, pretty good. Now to what I really need to do is pull this transmission out of this truck. I mean, we only put it in 3 years ago. Well, it'll be 3 years ago next month, but it's broken really badly. We're gonna try to put this cap over this and not leak too much, but I got a piece of carpet here. I can catch a little and get it out of the way so I don't have to lay in it just yet. Let's see if this works or not. Here we go. And come on, get in there. There we go. Yes. It's in there. Well, that wasn't that bad. Mostly just on the exhaust. Ah, it's a shame. This transmission's so clean. So I could just put it in there. The truck's been less greasy underneath, because I guess less leaky, because I think I power washed it a while back. It's still dry. Can't believe it. Now we got to take this Speedo. It's been leaking a little bit, which is pretty normal. They'll leak around the Speedo gear or around the Speedo gear plug adapter doodad. They'll leak every which way they can. I guess we'll try to get some bell housing bolts before we do these cross member bolts. Well, got the middle and bottom bell housing bolt out on each side and 2 of the 3 torque converter bolts. Gonna have to climb up and do the top 2 bell bolts. Haven't made a mess yet, but I'm planning on it. Today we're using the Jack-O-Matic, holding the header up so the motor don't lean back. Use a screwdriver and actually pushed it up a little bit. Nice leverage. Hopefully it won't be in the way. I gotta take the exhaust off. I've really fought it last time. This time it's coming off first because it was killing me. It's at the axle, so shouldn't be that hard. Well, other than the cooling line hoses to disconnect and leak everywhere, all the bolts are out. But if y'all ever saw the other video messing with this transmission a while back, it turns out this 454 Gen 6, the dowel pins are maybe just slightly bigger or something, that they're super tight on the bell housing. And I figured that out last time. So I remember having to use my torch, and I heated up the aluminum to swell it so it'd come apart easier. So I guess I'm gonna do that. I don't wanna hurt the case, even though what's inside, yuck, ain't no telling. Well, once again, propane has shown to be a valuable tool and a necessity in America. Little propane wiggle, little heat juice, she's free, just like you and me. America. Not gonna make a mess with the hoses. We got Mr. Carpet in place so I can unscrew this, and wish me luck. Maybe I'll jam bolts in it really quick. I don't know, it's just still gonna make a mess. The carpet's working now. Maybe I should buy some reproduction nice cooler lines so we could actually not have potentially terribly failing rubber hoses splices all the time. I don't know. Wine cork. Take the dipstick out and shove the cork. Well, I worked on the other one. Wine cork fit perfectly, by the way. Don't work hard, work smart, or save a lot of shit and sometimes use it. Well, what do you know? Dropped a transmission like nothing. Huh. Maybe we can get the other one up in place today. That was kind of the goal. Just like that. Don't need no lift. Yeah, I gotta pull them out. Off of this one and probably these cooler line bits. I'll leave the converter in it. It's a rebuildable core. It was like a new stock one, I guess, but we'll get it rebuilt. Yep, time to do the lifty drop carefully. I'm gonna turn the camera off for this. That wasn't bad at all. Well, today's torque converter for the C10 is brought to you by Darren at Blake's Muscle Cars. Check out my friend Darren at Blake's Muscle Cars YouTube channel. He works on really nice muscle cars, and he's moved out of Midlothian, Texas. He's in eastern Oklahoma now, just west of Fort Smith, Arkansas, off of 40, I believe. So anyway, go check out his channel, give him a like. I'll try to put a link in there. And yeah, well, you can tell on the stuff he works on, you know, it's a whole nother level because the cars are nice, unlike what you'll find over here. But quality work is great. He does a lot of detail work and sniper EFIs and, you know, motor building and swapping and diagnostics on the upper echelon of muscle cars. So go check them out. Oh, I didn't get into the converter specifics. This is a basically new semi-used, believe it is a Boss Hog. It'll be like a 2700 on a 454. It came off of 445 olds, parts 46012. Should be very similar performance to the Hughes, the BOP 25 that used to be in a truck when it's ran its best time. So maybe we'll get treated to get back to the 8.3s and the 8th mile. So who knows where it goes from there. Well, we're back to what I showed earlier. Basically gonna have my left leg help block the jack. I'll get behind it and pull it up towards myself onto the jack. Not that big a deal. And we can jack that thing up. Of course, before we get too far on this, we're gonna need to get the jack straight. Maintain the balance. Remember, you can use your leg, pump the jack. That's what I do while I'm balancing it. Works real good. Now, I didn't trim this transmission to clear the ears right. I didn't cut this one to like I normally do, so since the exhaust is out of the way, I should be able to get it up to clear regardless. Yeah, this transmission's got a deep truck pan on it now, so that's kind of neat. I do still recommend cutting those ears off the transmissions though, because sure be a little easier to get around those headers, because the header spacing's pretty much the same, don't matter the brand. On the GMs, they're gonna line up pretty close. Looks like we might just clear before the bell housing hits the tunnel. Get it above the, almost. There we go. That's cool. We're gonna stop there because we gotta do the converter. Converter time. I mentioned the converter's in already, and already got the block almost all the way up. It's looking good, looking real good. Well, I can't believe it, but I got 4 bolts, all of them proper flange headed bolts. I've mentioned before, if you don't have flange headed bolts for your bell housing, go get some at the hardware store. That just kind of like a built-in washer. Get you some grade 8 gold zinc plate, whatever, or you can get some used Pontiac intake bolts that have flanged heads, 3/8 thread. They make dandy transmission bell housing bolts, absolute favorite. So anyway, converter doesn't hit anything, block's bolted up, got the top 2 bolts to do, but I kind of think this might be the first time I put a transmission up in the other car, at least to the point where it's bolted up, and then pulled one and got one back in on this just as well, and it's only early afternoon. Pretty good for a 55-year-old on his back. Well, luckily the new stock mount that I had on the Catalina that I was swapping over. It was slotted so it would line up with the Turbo 400, so I'm going to use it on the truck first. I got 3 other new mounts, but I don't think they're the slotted ones, so I'll probably grind those later. I'll make them universal, or at least one of them, I guess. So I'm going to try to get this cross member in. The old bolts were here, and then these bolts here should be to line up to that, because that's factory. You know, big block trucks had Turbo 400s, and 350 trucks were right there. And this is a big block swapped Turbo 400 swap truck. So there you go. Well, these bolts are started. Those bolts are started. Those bolts are torqued. We're gonna wrap that up for today's little episode. Just remember, Hydromatic is a division of GMC, General Motors Corporation. Yeah, thanks for watching. And don't forget, if you're not subbed to all our old Motor Trend friends that lost their jobs, their regular jobs with benefits, you know, well, you need to be on their YouTubes, man, all of them. You know, Roadkill, Hot Rod Garage, you name it. This is my ATR shirt.